Hey guys, it's Dynamite, and I just finished reading the most recent Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, so today I'm going to be ranking all 17 books into a tier list. I'm going to put the first book into great. It really just kicks everything off, and I know like the books don't really base each other, like you don't have to read number 1 to read number 2, but it really does kick everything off. It has like a great storyline going through it the entire time. It's really memorable. It's not the best book they have, but I'm going to put it in great. Roderick Rules, I think, is another great book. I think a lot of people would actually put it in best book. I'm going to make this best books, actually. I think a lot of people would put it up there, but, like the first one, I like the first 2 books. They're some of my favorites, but it's not quite in the top tier. The Last Straw is actually one of my favorite books of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, and they're not ranked horizontally, but I'm going to make The Last Straw ranked horizontally. It's really close to best books. I just don't think it's quite there, but I really like The Last Straw. Dog Days is kind of an interesting book. It kind of goes all over the place. It's not as great as, the first, second, and third books, but it's still a good book. I'm going to put it in good. The Ugly Truth, I'm going to put it just an average book. I think there's some good parts of it, but honestly, I hardly remember. I know he has like an egg, and he's, got to protect this egg, and then like his mom eats it or something. That's like really the only part I remember about Ugly Truth, so we're going to keep it there. Next is Cabin Fever, and I'm going to put this in best books. I really like Cabin Fever because, well, first of all, the entire book's good. It's very memorable, at least to me. And at the end of the book, you have Manny, and he shuts down the power to the entire house so he can have power for his room. I think that's a really funny ending, so I think Cabin Fever is one of the best books in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. I'm actually not a huge fan of The Third Wheel. I'm going to put it in meh. I think there's some funny parts in it, actually. But the actual storyline itself with, like, Abigail and Rowley, I don't find that interesting, so we're going to keep it in meh. I don't even remember what happens in Hard Luck at all. Hard Luck is, I think, when, like, Rowley leaves him, he's got to find new friends. I think this is another average book, kind of like Ugly Truth. I had a little bit of a hard time remembering it. So, it's not a bad book, but it's a little less memorable than these ones up here. Okay, The Long Haul is very similar to some over here, but I'm going to put it in great. I actually really like The Long Haul. I know the memes about the movie. This is not a movie ranking up here, but the actual book itself, I think, is a great. Old School is a good book too. It's not as memorable. I keep saying this. It's not as memorable as, like, especially these two to me are the most memorable, but I like it. It's with Dog Days. It's kind of all over the place to me, but Old School is a really good book. I'm going to put Double Down in great. It's actually kind of close to good, probably, but the reason I put it in great is because it's kind of relatable. Like, I think we all have the thoughts sometimes, like, am I the only real person in the world? Or, is everybody else an actor? And, just things like that. Like, it's kind of relatable, and I think there's some funny moments in it, so I'm going to put it in great. The Getaway is another good book. However, here's where it starts to go downhill for Jeff Kinney. The Getaway is eerily similar to The Long Haul. Like, it's a weird trip, and then, like, some crazy thing happens at the end. And that's what happens with a lot of these books coming up here. But I still think it's funny. It's a good book. There's some good moments in it. I'm going to put The Meltdown in great. It's like kind of like The Last Straw, where it's really close to best books in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. And the reason it's great is it's pretty intense. There's some funny moments, and, it really shows Greg's life, I just think it's really funny. I like The Meltdown a lot, so it's going to go in great, but it's close to best books. Wrecking Ball is another one up with these. I want to reserve best books for the very best. Like, I think Cabin Fever is probably the best book in the series. And Wrecking Ball, I really like the ending. Like, he almost moves away, and I was kind of rooting for him to move away. Like, I like Rowley and everything, but I think it would have been cool to introduce some new characters if he did move away. He was this close, and he didn't end up moving away. That'd have been cool if he did, though, but I think there's some funny moments. We're going to keep it in great. I'm going to put The Deep End in average. This is another one that's, like, basically the same as The Long Haul and The Getaway. Like, the trip's going badly, some funny moments. I think every book's pretty funny. It's not the first time we've seen this, Jeff, so we're going to put it in average. Big Shot, okay, I like that he went away from this little streak of, the same book over and over again. However, I think Big Shot is meh. This is the first book. Before these, this is the 15th book. No, this is the 16th book. And these 15 up here, I laughed out loud in all of them. And this is the first one where I didn't laugh out loud. And I feel like that's kind of what I read Diary of a Wimpy Kid for, so we're going to put it in meh. I think the storyline's actually average, but it's not as funny as these other ones. And then Diaper Overload, I just finished reading it a couple hours ago, and it's going to go with Big Shot. And maybe just because I'm getting older, I don't find Diary of a Wimpy Kid as funny. I don't think it was a bad book. The storyline was okay, but, I know a lot of people don't like Manny. I think Manny's a funny character, or even his parents. But you don't really get to see his home life. He's just on the road the entire time with some new band members. It's not horrible, but I wouldn't, it doesn't stand out for me. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if you guys want to see more tier lists like this one.